Meanwhile, the Nigerian Air Force says the air components of Operation Hadin and Hadarin Daji have eliminated scores of terrorists in the stream of airstrikes in their enclaves across the theaters. The NAF disclosed this in a statement released by the Director of Public Relations and Information, Air Commodore Edward Gabkwet, on Sunday in Abuja. Gabkwet said the air components in the early hours of Saturday carried out air interdiction missions at a newly identified terrorist hideout in Bukar Meram near the Lake Chad region in Borno State. He said the strikes became necessary after it was established that the recent relocation of terrorists from Suwa to the Bukar Meram general area was for possible resurgence of attacks on ground troops and innocent civilians. Now, security expert Femi Aratokun-Ale joins me on the news to discuss this worrisome menace in the country. Good morning, and thank you so much for joining me on News Central.
On your program today.
All right, so if you could actually tell us, to what extent would you say that the Nigerian government has gone in fighting the insecurity or the security of lives and property, and why have these attacks continued unabated?
Let's start from this very angle. If we talk about security in Nigeria today, obviously we can tell that yes, we're making gains, and at the same time we're equally losing in some areas and some aspects of it. However, we will not blame this present administration. We don't need to blame this present government for what they are doing. They met a lot of open gaps in terms of what security has been like, and lack of proper welfare and funding for our security officers. That is one thing that is actually contributing to the insecurity and the insensitivity of the government in the past. However, if we want to talk about it, those that are really, in charge of what security is like in Nigeria today, are they actually doing the right thing, or they are just paying lip services? Is one thing we need to look into. What is the welfare security officers like in Nigeria today? Again, the equipments they are using, are they obsolete equipments, or they are just anyhow equipments or fabricated ones? Those are the key things we need to really look into. And what is equally contributing to the insecurity in Nigeria and the security situation in Nigeria today has got to be the economic hardship placed upon all Nigerians. So these are factors we are looking into, and we have other ways of, recommending ideas into the government to know what to do, and if they can carry them out, I think security might probably be well mitigated and will be a thing of the past in Nigeria. But the question is this: is the government ready to listen? Is this present administration ready to listen to new ideas in rebuilding the confidence and the real security structure they need to have in Nigeria? That is it.
All right, Femi, you actually talked about some of the gains and also some of the pains. But then in recent times, we've seen security operatives proactively take the battle to the criminals and also to the hideouts, and also, in most cases, wipe them off. But that hasn't stopped others, that's other criminals, from springing up. Now, what are some of the factors that have inhibited these security operatives from performing their statutory functions?
Thank you for that question. And the real answer to that question has got to do with trust. And again, the body language of our legislators, the body language of our senators and all the rest, and the governors as well. The question is this: year in, year out, quarterly, and every time, different fundings we see springing up, and we can see loads and loads of billions being announced towards how do I put it? Towards reinforcing the security architecture in the country. But physically, are we seeing anything? Let us take a very simple cue from our police stations today in Nigeria. Are we trying to let us understand that yes, we have proper police stations in Nigeria? What is our prison system like? Are they like real correctional facilities? And the people actually in charge of all this stuff, what exactly are they doing? Are they actually carrying out their duties according to how it should be carried out? I will use Lagos State again as a model, and I'm not going to use Ondo State as a model. I'm going to use some other places as a model. But let us take Lagos State. Different security bodies were being set up. Again, you see all of them modeled up around traffic lights, traffic road areas and stuff. But no one is actually walking around the streets, around the communities and engaging with members of the public to really know exactly what the situation is like, what do they want, how come they are having insecurity, what can they do, and all the rest. We just want to rely on, let me say, the private guards. Yes, they can do so much, but we have policies supporting and guarding them. If we do not have this, then let us look into the training aspect of it. How well trained are they? When we talk about training, is it just online training or physical training or what type of training? Or do we need to change strategies to make life worthwhile? If we do not, and I keep saying, if we do not look into all this, the module and the templates that we have in Nigeria in terms of securing lives and property will never, ever change. Look at it this way, we are moving into December period. What is the strategy for securing people along the road? Are we actually working alongside with the road traffic, road safety officers? What exactly are we putting in place to make sure that all angles are safe and secure? Our faith leaders as well needs to equally do so much in terms of proactiveness. We just don't need to leave everything only for the police officers or to the military or the civil defense. We all need to come together, have a town meeting, and have a good resolution towards what we have today on ground.
All right, now talking about what can be done or what is being done to make sure that, you know, the last months of the year is safe, you'd agree that this insecurity in the country has actually caused a lot of heartache for citizens of Nigeria, and some of the impacts of insecurity include dislocation and disruption of family and communal life, deepening of hunger, and also poverty. And this generally breeds, you know, an atmosphere of mistrust, fear, anxiety, and also frenzy. Now, in your opinion, don't you think, or do you think that despite efforts to tackle insecurity, that these particular impacts and more might escalate insecurity rather than, you know, stop further spread?
Oh yes, it's going to definitely escalate because we are not putting money, our budget, our mouth to where things should be, and I will tell you why. Let us look at our institution today. We have what we call the Food and Technology Department. We have the Hotel and Catering Management. In what way? And I ask, in what way are this any successive government or the past government supporting all this department in bringing up new food and ideas in member of the public to consume? That is what we have in London. In London here, there's what you call the food festival. We have different kind of ideas coming up from entrepreneurs to see the kind of food they can actually produce at low income rates so that it could be affordable. It can be affordable for a lot of people. But in Nigeria, we do not have that. In Nigeria, we have fruits being destroyed by bandits, by different criminal activities, but we do not have a way out into how do we preserve our food. If we take food out of what is going on in Nigeria today, security will definitely be a thing of the past. But if we neglect all these institutions, if we neglect all these ideas coming up from youths, if we neglect all our farmers, openly and for a very sincere statement for you all, security will be high, because when food is not in the country, obviously people will take crime as another means of survival in Nigeria.
All right, well, thank you so much, Femi, for your expert's opinion on this issue. We really appreciate your thoughts on this.
Thank you so much for having me.